In a recent live stream, we started building an intermittent fasting tracker. And if you want to catch up on that, I've linked this playlist down in the video description with the live stream in it, so you can have a look at that and understand where we are in that development of the intermittent fasting tracker until now. But I'll also quickly catch you up on the mechanics that we have implemented. So we have this toggle fast intent, which we are using in an interactive widget that we have built. So getting rid of the timeline provider here. In our widget, we are using the toggle fast intent. And that basically takes a user defaults with our suite name. So we have set up an app group here so we can share user defaults between the main app and the widget extension. And the intent just toggles a isFasting boolean that is saved in user defaults. And the same thing actually happens in the app as well. So the app only has a single button right now, which either says stop fasting or start fasting, and also only toggles this app storage property. That works because we have set the default app storage to be the one that uses our app group identifier. So the exact same setup basically for the main app and the widget, just a tiny bit of different code, but essentially they do the same. And then we also reload the widget if the button inside of the app is being pressed. All right, and then in the simulator, you can see that we have the main app with a start fasting button. And if I press that and go back to the home screen, you will notice that the widget now says stop fasting. We can press the button in there as well, and then it will say start fasting again. And the same is true for the main app, so this works in both directions. Right now, we are only storing an isFasting boolean in app storage. I actually want to instead refactor this so we know when the fast was started through app storage. And then all of the past fasting data, I want to store that in SwiftData. So current ongoing fast is for app storage. Past fast data will be in SwiftData. So first of all, we will have to refactor this app storage property right here. So instead, what I imagined to have, and I haven't worked on this yet, this is just an idea that I had. So I will, for example, have a property here called fasting start time interval since 1970. Because I'm not sure if we can store dates in user defaults. If we can store optional dates in user defaults, we can also use that. Let me try that out really quick. So I will call this fasting start date. And can this be an optional date? And can this be nil by default if that works? All right, so that doesn't work. So instead, I will assign this to be 0 and assign this to be a double. So we will store the fasting start time, and we basically say date.time interval since 1970. So we can store it as a double. Time interval is just a type alias for double. And then we will assume that whenever this variable is 0, there is no fast going on. So the user is not fasting right now. And if this has a value other than 0, then that's the start date of the current fast. So let's also implement a computed property here. And let's call this one isFasting, basically what we had in user defaults before. And this will be fasting start date is not equal 0, then the user is fasting right now. So we can get rid of this app storage property for that and instead just use it like this. And then of course, instead of saying isFasting.toggle, in here we want to check if the user is fasting. Then we want to write fast data to SwiftData. And then also set date to 0. So we can do that right now. So I would say fasting start date is 0. And by that, we now know that the user is not fasting anymore. If they weren't fasting, then we want to start the fast. And then in here, we want to start the fast. So for that, we will say our fasting start date is date.now.time interval since 1970. So this is, as I mentioned, a time interval, and time interval is just a type alias for double. So we're good to store a double in here. And I think this is a decent setup for now. In here, we can even already write out some code to say let fast start date equals our fasting, or we will create a date with a time interval since 1970, and that will be our fasting start date. Is this optional? Let me quickly check. It isn't. All right, so we have the fast start date, and let's also say fast end date is date.now. And then saving that to SwiftData is still to do, so I will say to do save to SwiftData. And we will do that later on. I want to first finish setting up this new app storage key, so we're using it in our toggle fast intent as well. All right, so that looks good to me. So then in our toggle fast intent, we have to now refactor this since we're not using this key anymore. And let me actually make sure I can copy this key and use it in here as well. So before we read the is fasting value, and we do still need that because we essentially, let me rearrange these. We essentially want to have the exact same logic as we have in here. So I will say let fasting start date is store.double for this key that we just copied. And then we will say if fasting start date is 0, this means that currently not fasting, start a fast now. And then else means the user was currently fasting, and fast now, and save to SwiftData. All right, so we can get rid of this stuff in here, and I actually played around with this for a second, so you can ignore the changes here. So let me get rid of that. So when it is 0, we want to instead set it to the current timestamp. So we will say store.setValue date.now.time interval since 1970 for this key that we specified here. And that should be everything that we need to do, right? Because that's everything that we do in the main app as well. And then the rest of this stuff, I will actually implement this in the main app and then just copy it over into the intent once we're done with that. So I've already prepared a models file in here, which is part of both the main app and the widget extension targets. And here we want to import SwiftData, and we want to create our model class, and I will say this should be called a fast entry. I think that that should work. So let me think about which values we want. So we want a let fasting start date, which should be a date, and we probably can't use date because we have to import the foundation for that. And then we want the same but for the end date. And I'm not sure if we need any other attributes in here. I will of course want to have the fasting duration, but that can be a computed property. So I think we can now just go ahead and create the initializer. And then below that, let's create a fasting duration and make that a double. And in here we will say fasting end date dot time interval since 1970 minus fasting start date dot time interval since 1970. And through that we will have the fasting duration in seconds. I believe a time interval is seconds, right? Yes. A time interval is always specified in seconds, and it has sub-millisecond precision, which is why it uses a double instead of an int. All right, so that should be good for the fast entry. So next, let's create the model container, and I commented this out in the beginning of the project because yeah, we didn't have an item anymore. So instead we will now call this fastEntry.self. So we want to use the model container for our fastEntry.self in our entire window group. And then in the content view, we already have the model context, so that is nice. So let's save this data to SwiftData. So let's say let fastEntry be a fastEntry, giving our start date and end date. And then we want to say model context dot insert our fastEntry. All right. So that looks good. Let's actually embed this in a VStack so we can also see what we're doing basically. And then below this, we will have a list of all of the fast entries. So let me quickly wire that up as well. So let's create a query var entries, and that will just be an array of fast entry. And then at the bottom here, we will have a list over our entries with an entry in. And for each of those, I will, how will I set that up? So I think I will do an H stack with a text of our entry dot fasting start date with a format of dot datetime. And then I will perhaps have another text with just a minus symbol like that, so we can visually show something. And then let me quickly copy this text from up here to the bottom just for our fasting end date. All right, and this way we should be able to see all of the data as well. So next we need to set up the same thing in our toggle fast intent. So we will have to first create our model container, then we have to grab the context, and then we have to write everything into that context as well. And I actually have a lesson on my channel called SwiftData in Widget Extensions, where we can basically copy paste the code to get the model container, a fetch descriptor. We don't need that, but the model container and the main context, we will need both of those. So let me try to copy this out of the video and let's see if macOS does its thing nicely or not. So in our toggle fast intent, let's first of all make sure we set the value to 0 for our key. And let me quickly copy that key again, just so our user default store is up to date. And let me also add a second editor window so we can have the content view on the left-hand side to compare if everything works. Of course, for the model container, we don't need an app idea, or we don't want to create it for an app idea. We want to create it for a fast entry. Let me get rid of the sidebar so we have a bit more space. And then in here, we need to return a result instead of an empty array. Just like that. And that is just a guard case that we will hopefully never need. Of course, to create a model container, we need to import SwiftData. All right, so now that we have the model container, we can say let model context is our model container dot main context. And for that to work, we will probably have to annotate, or let's first of all say wait here. We will probably have to annotate the perform method with at main actor to make sure it runs on the main thread, so we can use the main context. And then it's not async anymore. I have no idea how that works. If you do know why this is not asynchronous anymore when we're using at main actor, please let me know in a comment. I'd love to learn about that. All right, so now that we have our model context, we can create our fast entry. So let's say let fast entry is a new fast entry. The start date is our fasting start date and the end date is .now. And then we can insert this into the model context. Oh, of course, we can't use fasting start date because that's a time interval. So instead we will create a date with the time interval since 1970, just like that. And let me actually get rid of the second editor again and jump back into just one editor since we don't need to compare with content view anymore. So after we have that, we can say model context.insert our fast entry. And now we should have everything set up. So let me try this out in the simulator and be right back to you. Alright, so we do have the app with our start fasting button, and we also still have the widget with our start fasting button. So let's press start fasting in the widget, and we can notice that it doesn't auto update anymore. So that is very interesting. So we might need to have two different values in there, or the issue might be that we're now running on the main thread, which WidgetKit might not like. So either way, let's check the main app, and it does say stop fasting. So if I say stop fasting, then it will indeed create our list entry for our fast entry, our list row for the fast entry, with the start date at 9:31 p.m. and the end date also at 9:31 p.m. So that part is working. Let me play around with the perform method here to understand why the widget is not updating automatically anymore. So I did try to remove the add main actor annotation, but if we press start fasting in the app, then the widget is still not reloading. And I really don't understand why that happens, because in our main app, we do call widgetCenter.reload timelines, which should reload the timeline, meaning that we get a new timeline entry. And let me have a quick look at that. Aha, and we're still using the Boolean for key is fasting here. So that makes sense why it's not working. So instead, let me copy our new key again. And then in here, we will say we need a double for this key and pasting the key. And we are fasting if this is not equal to 0. Let's run this again in the simulator, and let me also revert back to using the main actor annotation here, so the non-sendable warning for the next Swift version goes away. Alright, so we apparently still have a fast running, and it says stop fasting in the widget. Let me click that. It switched back to start fasting, and in the main app we now have our fourth entry in the list. So this is very nice progress. So now instead of just storing whether the user is fasting, we can actually store the results in SwiftData through both the widget and the main app. And the next time when I come back to working on this app, we can start implementing some UI for it, because right now the UI is just to interact with our data storage. If you enjoyed this raw live coding video, I would call it, then please make sure to let me know in the comments and also like the video. I'm not doing this very frequently, so I really don't know if you do enjoy it. I also recently enabled channel membership, so if you want to support my channel, just click the join button either on the channel page or right next to the subscribe button below the video. Thank you so much for that, and see you in the next video.